Okay. Well, I think I'd have this down by now. There we go. All right. Beer review. If you watched my last video, I mentioned that I had a beer mail from Tatamagouche Brewing, beer order coming my way. So that showed up as expected. And two new beers out of that I haven't reviewed yet. I just bought a bunch of extra stuff that I just like drinking from them. But got two new things, and now I checked their website, and they got some other new things that just popped up. So it looks like I'm gonna have to do another one of these very soon. But we're starting off with Flanerie Belgian Blonde, and the text is not conducive to my lighting situation here. But and we have Miss Hardy, the Miss Hardy, saying, "Stop distracting me. I'm supposed to be listen playing." Well, it's not my fault. You can turn me off. Well, you personally can't turn me off, but you know what I mean. You could turn me off on the computer machine anytime you wanted. So Flanerie, that is a variation of Flanier. I'm totally butchering that. It's a French word. It basically means like a lollygagger, idling, listless, lazy, sometimes used in context with like strolling or just aimlessly walking around or just, taking it easy is kind of the idea here. So it's basically just like, hey, you want a good, easy drinking beer where you can, you know, just, not worry about anything. You can just lay back or walk around the yard and drink or whatever kind of situation. I think that's kind of what they're going for here. 5% alcohol by volume, and like I said, Belgian-style Blonde Ale. And then Lee says, "Distraction. It's all your fault. I'm procrastinating." Well, what can I tell you? So we got to pour this and see what it's like. So Belgian-style Blonde Ale, usually not too intense or anything like that. We're not talking Duvel. We're not talking like strong golden Belgian ale or whatever. We're just talking a regular blonde, but with a little bit of a Belgian twist to it. And I'm going to share the website right now. And we're share screen just so we can see it here real quick. So here we go. This is a better look at it. So make time to be still. Flanerie is a no hurry. So again, going with the theme of being a little, listless, lazy, casual, relaxed, that kind of thing. Like it's a very it's kind of a catch all for those sort of things. A locally focused Belgian style blonde ale brewed with Horton Ridge malt. I didn't look up if there was anything specifically interesting about Horton Ridge malt, but it's from here in the Annapolis Valley, and whole leaf hops grown in Oxford, Nova Scotia. And I don't need any tasting notes. It does say it has Belgian yeast in it, so that's helpful to know. And yeah, there you go. So let's pour it and let's get to it. All right, so it's definitely more golden in person than it looks here. Here it looks a little bit more almost coppery in color on the camera. It's actually pretty pale golden color. Not a lot of head going on here or anything like that. But yeah, it looks like your typical blonde ale, basically. So let's go right to the aroma. Okay. So basically, like when you think of blonde ale, typically like a little bit more on the malty side, like an easy drinking light ale, but you'll get some like biscuity or uh, maybe even like a kind of a grassy malt kind of character going on. Um, Apparently, with the Belgian style, you're going to get usually like some sort of introduction to like the Belgian yeast, which will bring out some fruity esters. So there's a little bit more sweetness, maybe, but at the same time, not overly sweet. And definitely the bitterness is dialed back. I think the IBUs on this are supposed to be pretty low. Um, so yeah, I'm smelling the Belgian yeast. It's coming out, getting a little bit of a bubblegummy banana kind of character here, and a little bit of like just typical like graininess in the background. Very small note of that. Some grassiness. Smells very good. It's kind of like unmistakably, oh yes, that's Belgian yeast. That's some like popular strain of Belgian yeast being used here. So we'll go right to the taste. Cheers. Mm, that's good. So this takes me back a little bit. Um, I can't think of the fucking names of them, but for a while, the NSLC years ago had a much wider variety of like Belgian stuff in it. And there was a couple different like weird Belgian beers I'd never heard of, and they were mostly just like typical Belgian ales. They weren't like Trappist brews or anything like that. They weren't like quads or doubles or triples or anything. Like there were a few of those too. Don't get me wrong, but there was just a bunch of like nondescript, like Belgian golden ale, Belgian blonde ale kind of thing. And this takes me back to those. This is very much in line with those. It's got that fruity, estery kind of quality to it, but it's not too sweet. There's a good kind of a biscuity, grainy character to this that brings a little bit of bitterness at the finish. Brings a little bit of um, body to it. Mm. But yeah, this tastes like one of those kind of standard Belgian blondes, Belgian golden ales. Um, it doesn't have super complexity or anything like that. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be very easy drinking, very approachable. The bitterness that's on the back is just a little bit of dryness, teeny bit of bitterness. It doesn't linger, um, and it's just good. It's just all around good. It's a simple beer, but it's made really well. I mean, it's Tatamagouche Brewing. I've sung their praises before. I think I'm pretty comfortable in saying that they're probably, if not the best, like top five uh, as far as like craft breweries in the Maritimes overall. They're just the stuff they do. They almost always knock it out of the park. Um, Even if they're doing a simple style like this, they've done a fantastic job with it. And here we have Paul P. Bruno's, and how you doing, brother? And he says, "Rip, Oli and Virgil. Yes, two gentlemen wrestlers who just recently passed away. Virgil, the news today, the longtime manservant of the Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase, before he branched off and had a singles career, and then went on to WCW for a little while, mostly doing tag matches with the NWO or whatever. Probably more well known these days for his stuff post wrestling career, where he was going around conventions and setting up tables to sell uh, signed photographs and shit in weird places. And there's like memes out there of him just like lonely sitting at his table and no one's buying his shit. And he had a reputation for being a bullshitter and boasting about his accomplishments and shit. Um, and highly entertaining guy. honestly. Okay wrestler, highly entertaining personality outside of it. And yeah, unfortunately, I guess he died pretty bad too. Like I think he had a couple strokes recently and was suffering from dementia or something like that. So it was probably more of a blessing in disguise that he finally went. And Ole Anderson, if people are not familiar with him, he might be a generation too old for a lot of wrestling fans these days. Um, just one of the meanest, toughest motherfuckers to ever enter the business. And his character on screen was him in real life. He wasn't like playing a character. He was a mean, ornery son of a bitch who didn't like people, and most people didn't like him. And he would tell people he didn't like him. He famously told Vince McMahon to go fuck himself. And then on a second meeting where Vince McMahon introduced his wife, he told her to go fuck herself too. So that was the kind of guy he was. Probably not a guy you could get along with too well, but great worker, great talker, and yeah, both gone. So R.I.P. But anyway, back to this. This is great. Again, it's not going to blow you away. It's not like, oh, here's the new Belgian quad that's super amazing or anything. It's just a simple Belgian um, blonde ale, and it hits it. I'm going to give it a 9 for style. The only way you get better is maybe you get an authentic, is honestly just an authentic one from Belgium. That's kind of the only way this kind of gets better. It hits all the marks. My own personal preference. I can see me drinking a lot of these, honestly. I like it quite a bit. I'm going to throw an 8. I think I'm comfortable throwing an 8 at this. I like it a lot. It's got enough of the Belgianness to it, and it does the trick. It does what it says on the tin. So yeah, the Flanerie Belgian Blonde from Tatamagouche Brewing. I gets a 9 for style, 8 for personal preference. It's really good stuff. I think it's just like a seasonal kind of thing that they brew, or maybe not even seasonal, just like they rotate through and brew it every once in a while, maybe. Or maybe it's brand new. I don't even know if it's like something they never brewed before or if it's like brand new. Who knows? Like Tatamagouche is always doing more and more stuff all the time. So I'm sure they rotate a lot of this stuff quite a bit, and it's not necessarily seasonal, quote unquote. It's just, hey, whenever we feel like doing it, kind of thing. I think is kind of the general thing there. So I got one more from Tatamagouche that I'm going to do. I'll be in about half hour's time, I think, and we'll be back for that. But until then, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you when we see you.